Hi students, we continue on this topic, profit and loss, P and L. Okay, in this video we will focus on L, loss, this time. So same example that we have a tennis racket to sell, and this time the cost is also $80. We have to think that this time the selling price is less than the cost price. So in this case, we have a loss, we don't have profit. And the loss can be found by this, cost price minus selling price. Okay, so a loss is always a positive because cost price is greater than the selling price. Similarly, the cost can be expressed as a percentage of the cost price. We can say that loss percent is equals to the loss over cost price then times 100%. Also, loss is equals to the cost price times the loss percentage, loss percent. And one day, this bracket, okay, is on sale, and the selling price drops from $120 to $60. So loss is the cost price minus the selling price. So this time the loss equals to $80 minus $60 equals to $20. So to find the loss percent, we divide the loss by the cost price and then multiply by 100%. So that is loss $20 and the cost price is $80. So 20 over $80 times 100%. The loss percent in this case is 25%. Remind yourself that do not take the selling price as the denominator. This is not the selling price. This should be the cost price here. So remember, the cost price is the denominator. Another example. There is a chair that cost $270 and now is sold at a loss of 20%. So what is the loss and what is the selling price? To find the loss, we multiply the cost price by the loss percentage. That is $270 times 20% in this case, and the loss is found as this, $54. And to find the selling price, we can subtract the loss from the cost price. That is $270 minus $54. In this case, so the selling price is $216. So similar to the profit percent, loss percent is an example of percentage decrease. So selling price equals to cost price times bracket of 1 minus loss percent. So it is new value equals to original value times bracket of 1 minus percentage decrease. We can also refer the cost price as original value, okay? Selling price as the new value, loss as the decrease, and loss percent is the percentage decrease. Let's look at one more example. That there is a violin, and which is sold at this amount, $4,750, at a loss of 5%. So what is the cost price of the violin? We call that selling price equals to cost price times 1 minus loss percent. We know that the selling price and the loss percent in case. How do we find the cost price? We know this and this. How can we find the cost price? Now we can let $C be the cost price of the violin. By setting up the equation, we can solve for C. By dividing 4,750 by 0.95. Okay, then we can find the cost price. The cost price is $5,000 in this case. $5,000 in this case. So to round up this video, a very short summary, okay, here. So we can use the following formulas to deal with the problems on loss. First, loss is the cost price minus the selling price. Okay? And also, loss percent is loss over the cost price times 100%. Then, loss. Okay? It also equals to the cost price times the loss percentage. Loss percent. And if you have to find the selling price, we can subtract the loss from the cost price. At the same time, we can say selling price equals to the cost price times 1 minus loss percent. Now try to apply this formula in the quiz. See you next time.